Too many people now, and I see it in the children of today, they're ungrateful, they don't appreciate, they're spoiled, they want what they want when they want. But is there anybody here that knows that you ought to be thankful for what you do have? I may not have what the other children have, but I learned not to complain. And there's somebody here this morning that perhaps you're here today and you learn from your mama not to complain, because complaining is not going to make it better. Complaining is not going to change your situation. Complaining is not going to alter your circumstance. But in everything give thanks, for this is the will of God. Mama taught us how to give thanks, how to say your grace and ask your blessing over your food. But now the young people just sit down at the table, if they sit at the table, and just scarf down their food without even giving thanks. But I want you to know that it would behoove us to thank God for what he's already done. Thank God for what he's doing for us. Begin to thank God for the small things. For the songwriter says, count your many blessings. Name them one by one. Count your many blessings. See what God has done. We learn from this mother not to complain about our hardship. But we also learn from this mother that she was resourceful. Yes, she was. And that she was able to use what she had to get the job done. Let me suggest to you that the text indicates she was at the city gate, and the text says that she gathered a couple of sticks. Couple in my language means two. And I want you to know that as a Boy Scout, I learned how to make fire with two little sticks. And it ain't easy. Come on, somebody. But this woman was resourceful in that she may not have had a luxurious brick oven, but she had the ability to find two sticks that she could rub together that would produce fire to produce heat for the meal for she and her son. Let me suggest to you that God is telling us to do likewise. He wants us to use what we have in order to get what we need. He wants us to learn how to stop relying on everybody else and get back to the old time way when you had to use what you had to get along with this life. Is there anybody here that knows if the lights go out, you can get yourself a flashlight? But if I can't find a flashlight, I have a candle. The young people of today need to learn how to be resourceful, how to think ahead and not depend on your cell phone. Don't depend on consumers' energy. Don't depend even on your job, because you can have a job today and be given a pink slip on tomorrow. But that's not the end of the world. That's not a reason to jump off a bridge, nor is it a reason to commit suicide. But you've got to learn how to be resourceful. This woman gathered two sticks so that she could produce a fire, which is indicative of the fact that we too must learn how to improvise on the spot. You've got to learn how to be led by the Spirit of God. You've got to learn how to trust in the Lord with the little bit that you have, because little becomes much when you place it in the Master's hands. And I came to tell somebody this morning that I don't need no matches. I can get a fire started all by myself. All I need are two sticks to rub together, which means you've got to have something on the inside. Have I got a witness, church? You've got to have the fire on the inside. That's what Mama taught taught me. And that's why we sang to him this morning, have a little talk with Jesus. Tell him all about your troubles. He will hear our faintest cry, and he'll answer by and by. Yes, she taught me, feel a little prayer wheel turning, and I know that the fire is burning, because just a little talk with Jesus will make it all right. If I could hear my mother pray again, have I got a witness, church? Mama had a way of having a little talk with Jesus. Yeah, sometimes you wonder why she was moaning, why she was groaning, because mama understood that the Spirit maketh intercession with groanings that cannot be uttered, meaning so much so that when you moan and you groan, the devil doesn't know what you're talking about. Have I got a witness, church? Can you remember mama, how she taught us the power of prayer? And if nobody else goes to church, you're going to church. Yeah, she had the first drug ministry. She drug you to church. She drug you to Bible study. She drug you to Sunday school. She drug you to YPD. Drug you to BTU. Is there anybody here that thank God for mama? She taught you how to make a fire. That if the organ goes out, if the drummer doesn't show up, if you can't get no help in here, you can start a fire all by yourself. What happened to the mothers of old? That as soon as you get to the church, they will be rocking in the sanctuary, moaning and groaning, down at the altar, on their knees, praying till a breakthrough came. Have I got a witness, church? I learned from mama how to get the fire started all by myself. Is there anybody here that know I'll go if I have to go by myself? We learn not to complain, but to give God praise. We learn from this mother how to be resourceful. We learn from this mother how to be obedient to the word of the Lord. For the Bible says that the man of God told this widow woman, if you make my cake first, I promise you, the Lord said that you'll never go without. You'll have what you need. I'll supply your every need. Oh yes, he will. And so the Bible says that she did what the man told her to do. She was obedient to the word of the Lord, and she made him his cake first, because she realized that she had what it takes. And I'm so glad that I learned from my mama that regardless of what teachers say to you, regardless of what prejudice people do to you, regardless of racism and classism and sexism, I want you to know, son, that you do have what it takes. Have I got a witness, church? What happened to the old-fashioned mothers that instilled in their children that when you go to school, don't let anybody tell you that you cannot achieve, you cannot succeed, that you cannot be anything you want to be. I learned from my mama, Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ that gives me strength.